Hi, Joe Tawari. You're first. You're first. I think you're always first. Hi, you get a wave. That's so great. K Brown 127. Hi, how are you? Happy. Is today Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. Hump day. Whew. Did we get to Wednesday? Then we have Thursday, and then we have Friday. White Sun 9091. Hi, how are you? Gloria Pettigrew. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you here on Home Together. Home Together. We're still home together. And here in Los Angeles, it looks like we might be home together for quite some time. Plum's Land Cookies Company. That sounds really good. Lisa Jem from Boston. Hi, how are you? My daughter Leah. My daughter would be great for your son. Okay. I have two sons. One has a girlfriend, one does not. They're both great young men. And the one that has the girlfriend has a great girlfriend, Abby. Anyway, have you seen the video? Surprising. I can't read that. It goes so fast. Happy belated Mother's Day, Issy Fair. Thank you so much. Hi, Susan Watson, 1074. How is everybody today? How is everybody? For those of you who are staying at home like me, I hope you're doing okay. I hope if you're feeling a little frustrated, and I got to admit I am, take a deep breath, try to do meditation, try to find something that focuses your mind forward. That's what I did in my morning meditation, because the mayor of Los Angeles, a lot of confusion here in California about whether we can stay, go, what we can do. So I'm taking a deep breath. Even though I've never been a great rule follower, I'm trying to be a good rule follower now, because I'm trying to help those who are trying to help all of us, the healthcare workers. And so I'm trying to do my part by staying home and using my platform for good. So welcome to Home Together, using my platform for good. Normally, my son Patrick is my co-anchor, and he's not here today. He had an appointment that couldn't be canceled. Lucky him. He got to go out to go to a medical appointment, so that's good for him. And I'm really excited that we're going to be talking with my friend Jen Newsom. Jennifer Siebel Newsom is the first partner of California. That name used to be First Lady of California, and she has a new name for it. It's called First Partner. And she is a filmmaker, an advocate. She's a mom, she's a wife, and she's doing a great job here in California, leading us through this pandemic along with her husband, Gavin Newsom. So I'm really excited for her to come on and talk to us today about how she's been doing, how she is doing, how she plans to move forward, and how to lead in a time like this. And she's focusing a lot of her attention on women who have been particularly impacted by COVID. I know we have, the unemployment figures are so high, and they include men and women, but women have been particularly impacted by the economic downturn of this disease. So she's talked about kind of the importance of family leave, as have many other people, but she's going to talk about that. Oh, there she is. I see her on there wanting to come on. Just wanted to give a little preview about who we were talking to, and tell everybody what a great, there she is.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Sorry, I'm trying to hear you. Here we go.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
now I can hear you. Yes.
Oh,
yay.
So I was just talking about you, Jen. I was talking about that you're a filmmaker and an advocate, an activist, a mom, a wife. And for me, I want to always lead with that you're a friend.
Yes.
And we've been friends for a long time, and I love her. I love Jen. I like her. And we go back. And so I'm really proud of the job that she's doing. I like to say that to begin with. And so I want to begin with, you're a mom of 4 little kids.
Yes.
So for all the millions of parents that are out there who have been navigating this really complex time with little kids at home, how are you?
Oh, thank you. Well, that's a loaded question. No,
Yeah.
I'm good. I have tremendous empathy for for moms right now, moms who are carrying the load with their own work while homeschooling and obviously raising young children who are used to more structured environments and used to their after school activities. And so I've enjoyed channeling a bit of my own comprehension of the challenges that working moms and moms in particular face into how, you know, we can help those moms in California and hopefully beyond.
So how have you, on a personal level, your first partner, and I was
By the way, that's my child ringing the doorbell.
That's okay. That's
trying to get attention.
This is all good. This is all good. And I was explaining to people that some people were like, what's a first partner? And I said, for most people, that's the former title of being a first lady. Yes. And I actually like to ask you why you wanted to do first partner and not first lady.
Well, Maria, you inspired me. And I do go by first lady. My husband the other day actually introduced me as first lady on a Zoom call. Okay. And so first partner to me is really gender expansive. It's gender inclusive. We will have a female governor in the state of California. We will have an LGBTQ governor, but really it's also about partnership. Partnership is the only way forward. And I know you get this and understand this through and through. And I think that's one of the big things that I've really learned is that, you know, the way forward, the path forward is through strategic partnership. And so really I'm just playing a partnership role in the administration, as you know, as a volunteer. But really about bringing the best and brightest in government in partnership with the private sector and the nonprofit sector and educational institutions and figuring out ways that we can all work together and partner to solve these major systemic problems that we have here in California.
So how have you balanced, how are you balancing being a first partner to the governor of this expansive state at this really challenging time and first parenting in a way at home, right? Because you're with 4 little kids. How do you balance all of that?
Well, you don't. You don't. You just don't. And I think when I try to, I'll give you an example with homeschooling, for example, or which we're calling distance learning, but really in the beginning it was homeschooling. And I have 2 special learners and they really were struggling. And I was like, you are going to finish this. And it doesn't matter if the teacher says it's not essential and you're going to finish it. And this is how you do it. And how come you're avoiding it? And what are you doing, you know, running around and, you know, and I was getting really worked up about it. And then I realized, okay, the most important thing for me right now is to have a healthy relationship for my kids and not to be this drill sergeant 24/7 with them. And so it isn't perfect, right? I've gotten to this place where I'm like, you know what? I think they maybe did 80% instead of 100%, but today that's okay. And so every day is different. We have a lot going on, obviously with different personalities, 2 boys and 2 girls, which you know as well. A lot of energy. I'll share with you, we have a little burgeoning farm. It's been a bit of I'm a sucker for pets, for animals, and much to my poor husband's chagrin, we now have 5 baby ducks and 10 chickens, and we've been raising them sort of is a way to kind of, all right, we're homeschooling. We've always wanted this. We have some outdoor space and we can have our own eggs and we can even start a little enterprise if the kids want to, but really is a way to give them more responsibility outside of making their beds and helping set the table and helping me cook. And it's been a way to kind of, I don't know, bring a little joy and escapism while we, you know, get through this period of homeschooling and no friends.
So I think, no friends, that's a big one.
It's a big one,
Yeah, so many millions of parents have been struggling with this, right? Long distance learning, Zoom calls, and they've lost their jobs in the meantime, and they don't know when this quote is going to be over. I know you've tried to focus during this time a lot of your attention on women, on volunteerism. What do you want people, not just in California, I would say, but in California and beyond, to know about the particular struggles of women at this time?
It's a great question. You know, I want folks to see what has been invisible. I want to make visible the invisible. And I think in a way, COVID-19 really has done that. I think so many more individuals understand the sacrifices and the suffering that women go through day to day, how women are undervalued, and not just at home, but in the workforce by being underpaid and undermined and not, you know, seen for their sort of full or recognized for their full humanity. So for me, it's, you know, unfortunately, what we're coming to realize is that women are suffering the most because of this pandemic. Not only are they more so, as you know, on the front lines, but they are the main caregivers, and they're the ones that have lost their jobs in larger numbers. And so for me, it's really about how can we support women? How can we support the feminine? And obviously California is trying to do everything it can and lead the nation in terms of paid family leave and pay equity and childcare, et cetera, et cetera. But we, not just in California, but across the country, have to do so much more. So really, I've been trying to shine a light on that through our Equal Pay California campaign and our work in partnership with the Secretary of State and the legislature, in particular, Senator Hannah Beth Jackson, on and large nonprofits across the state to really hone in on some work that we're doing in terms of women in corporate boards to really address the wealth gap for women as well.
Yeah, so, you're trying to make that there's parity on corporate boards. There's a law here in California, right, that 50% of boards have to be women. How tough is that to actually implement?
Well, the good news is since the law was passed, in the 15 months since, we went from, I think, 29% of the companies, the public companies in California had only 29% did not have a woman on their board, and now only 4% do not have a woman on their board. So we have made progress. But there's still, we have another 800 or so seats to fill before 2022. So, you know, there's still so much work to be done. And then pay equity, you know, is a whole other, you know, we'll see what happens as a result of COVID-19. I'm hoping that corporate leaders really have a moral conscience and recognize the value of a multiple bottom line model where they're valuing their workers, their employees, where they're valuing the environment and they're valuing, obviously there's a financial return and upside. But part of that is really diversity and inclusion and leadership and valuing women and valuing the feminine. So I'm looking forward to all the work that will continue in that arena.
Jen, I love talking about valuing the feminine. And how do you think you or we can value the feminine in a way that actually translates into real jobs, real pay equity, real difference in women's lives?
Well, it's work that you've been doing that I care so much about, and it's work that I'm going to go deeper into shortly with some work I'm doing on the film side that's really about the care economy. And here's the beauty and the silver lining, I think, in COVID-19, despite the horrific losses and the fear and the anguish and everything that we're going through as a larger society. People are going inwards. And in going inwards, not only literally are they in their homes staying put and going inwards, but they're being forced to kind of go inwards and recognize the value of care, of self-care, of those who are doing most of that in their homes. I've spoken to so many couples as a result of us all being at home and some interviews and research I've been doing, where the men, for the first time, are acknowledging how invaluable their wives are. And so to me, this is sort of a cultural revolution that we, as a society, I think are being given the opportunity to really delve into, which is the value of care, the value of the feminine, the value of community, the recognition that we're in this together, that we need each other. And part of living in a capitalist society is that we have to put our money where our mouth is. And so we have to value that.
Yeah, that's a huge national conversation. How do we value those in the care business, right? How do we value those who are caring for children, caring for elderly parents? You've also been out there trying to ignite Californians about the importance of service, right? Volunteerism. And somebody asked me the other day what were one of my wishes for our country at this time, and one of the wishes were that we would all feel called up to be of service at this time. And how have you been trying to call up Californians, and how can we call ourselves up to be of service?
Thank you. And by the way, you've been such an incredible leader, as has your family in this area. And you know that your father really inspired Gavin. And so this has been something that he's been wanting to do for a really long time. So just thank you to you for your leadership. We launched initially with COVID-19, we launched the Neighbor to Neighbor campaign to remind folks in partnership with Nextdoor of how they could be of service to their neighbors, whether it's going grocery shopping for them, checking in on them, making sure they're okay, but also just staying home and recognizing that the more we can socially distance, the quicker we can hopefully get through this and all be back to normal. We've also really, I would say, the part of the Neighbor to Neighbor campaign is really this concept of me to we. And I know that maybe it was in my subconscious, but I was hammering home the me to we concept. And I say subconscious because of so much of the work that you've done, really anchoring your work as First Lady with the concept of we're in this together. And similarly, another organization that I love that's really about community and the recognition of our common humanity. So that's largely what we've been up to, is how do we, bring that mindset, that perspective forward. And most recently, and we're just about to launch something kind of soon, but really with a focus on millennials and youth, Californians for All was launched in late April. But we're also trying to do more to really institute that service mindset, that we're in this together mindset at the earliest of ages. And this is, again, that's the silver lining, I think, in all of this. I think people are recognizing that there is so much more to life when you share it with others and when you're able to contribute to others.
I like the idea of that. My parents felt that like you should get into the service business when you were like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And so that they would, I used to always say that people didn't want to come over and have a play date with me because my mother was signing them up for volunteer activities and asking them where they were volunteering and how they were of service and what their parents were doing to be of service. But I think that kind of calling us all up in whatever way we can be called up. Maybe it's making a call, like you've been asking people to make a call to their senior neighbors, which I think is terrific, or being of service, getting groceries for a neighbor, but just trying to bring us collectively together, even if it's or virtually or through technology, right? That's been something that you and the governor have really tried to stress, to make us one California, right?
Yes.
And that's something that really the entire country is probably yearning for. You mentioned like until we get back to normal. There's a feeling out there, Jen, like there is no quote getting back to normal. And here, certainly in Los Angeles, where I am, there's this kind of chaos last night going, we're all going to be in this lockdown, so to speak, until August. People are like, whoa. So what is the governor saying in terms of, what he's doing or what you guys are doing for this state in particular?
So you mean in terms of opening back up?
Yeah, in terms of opening back up, or what is there isn't really going to be back to normal.
I know. That's fair. I guess, but I guess I'm, he is coming from a place though of every day looking at the numbers, looking at the science, basically making, working obviously with HHS and the entire health team to design, that roadmap in partnership with our economic team, which I think is doing a really good job, and just taking steps forward, trying to give the counties enough discretion and authority to do what they need to do, but really trying to, be that guiding light for the rest of the state.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Like, I think I want to know, how do you be a guiding light? I think everybody in this country right now can be, or in the world really, can be a guiding light and can use that as their job title in a way. We can be a guiding light in our homes. We can be a guiding light if we have small businesses. We can be a guiding light if you're in government. How do you be a guiding light when so many millions of people have lost their jobs, when people have so much anxiety and fear, and when the unknown is really unknown. The path forward is a little bit uncertain. How do you be a guiding light? Do you talk to him about how you can both be guiding lights?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I think, you know, something he said today that I really appreciated was largely this concept of well, I'm just so proud of his leadership. Let me put it that I just really am. I mean,
later.
It's been rough because he feels like he is responsible for 40 million individuals, their health, their safety, and also their economic stability, right? And tomorrow he's going to make a big announcement related to the budget. We know that these are dire times. Our values are the same, but the budget numbers are not the same. They're nowhere near where they were last year. And so, but he's an eternal pragmatist. But he's also, you know, he's been very real with me from the get-go, just about how things are going to shift. And in some ways I've appreciated it because he thinks I'm so Pollyannish. And he's been a bit like dark about things because he carries the weight of the world on his shoulders. And so I think we balance each other a little bit. And frankly, just to go back to the kids and the ducks and the chickens, I think that I'm trying to sort of create an ambience, an environment of some lightness, which I think, you know, is necessary in this time because things are so heavy and they're so dire. And he always gets the worst information and the darkest information. And again, then we're about to enter wildfire season and who knows when the next earthquakes are coming. So, you know, he knows how to take care of himself. I'm trying to take care of him with food and just support and being there for him to vent to. But really also just, you know, take care of the home and the kids. And they're so wild and hysterical and funny with their little antics and their dances and their singing and at 6:30 this morning, I heard peeping in the front hallway. And the little guy, Dutch, who's 4 years old, had taken all 5 baby ducks out of their crate, which is in our living room, and put them by the front door and was running around with them in circles. And so
I think what you're really saying is that we see all of these governors, be they men or women, running press conferences every day. And sometimes it's easy to forget that they have lives at home. And the weight of running states or running governments at this time is challenging.
It's tremendous.
It's tremendous, right? But it's good to know that you're very proud of his leadership, but it's also, it's a weighty thing, right? To think about, there's 40 million people here. So many millions have lost their jobs. The budget isn't what we thought it was 3 months ago, which isn't that short a period of time. And you have to be a light guiding forward. You have to find some way to be optimistic, whether it's in your own home, as I said, or whether you're running the government. I know you've started a series trying to kind of focus a light on women who are doing great things. That you just profiled Katie Porter.
Yes, for Glamour. Yes. Yeah, it was great. I love her. Oh my goodness. What a remarkable woman she is. You know, as a single mom raising these 3 kids, representing us, she's phenomenal. And so, yes, that series is really about shedding light on all that working women are holding right now, and really kind of lifting them up and celebrating them. And, you know, just also reminding us all that we're in this together and how can we support each other and what can we do? Because don't you feel better when you reach a hand out and help somebody else? So
I think that's something we've talked about on this series that Patrick and I've been doing. And meanwhile, I'm sorry Patrick's not here, but we've been trying to use this platform to shine a light on people who are helping, who are providing healing, who are using their platforms to cultivate hope, to be a light, to let us know about things that exist, whether they're supporting nonprofits, coming up with creative ideas to help people, restaurant workers, travel workers, women, food banks. There has been such an outpouring of creativity and ideas and collectives that have come together to raise money to help so many people around the country who find themselves in situations that 3 months ago they could never have imagined, right?
Yes.
And I think that, I think that's really what you're saying, is that you're trying to be a light. You're trying to support your husband, which is part of the role of being a partner, manage 4 young children at home, bring attention to working women, to those who have find themselves in this economic downturn, which is millions of men and women in our state and also around the country. And then try to kind of give people hope and optimism that maybe there's not a new normal, but the path forward, that we're in this together. Is that?
It is. And it's also, there's so many resources, and this from government. We've put so many resources out, and I think I don't feel like the general public always gets all of the information or understands where to go for it or where to get those resources. EDD aside, because of the challenges, right, with the large number of unemployment. But, I've really just tried to be a source of information too. These are resources that are available to people.
And where should they go to get them, Jen? Where should
COVID19.ca.gov. There are incredible resources, stress buster resources for mental health. I've been putting out tech tips because our kids are in front of media 24/7 in a way that they've never been. And I've always been really concerned about what just that wild west that is available to children before their minds and their development are ready for that. And so, we just put out a whole kind of best practices on how to protect your kids, how to keep your kids safe during COVID-19 with media. And so just anything and everything to support families, right? Because families really are vulnerable in new ways. And I've also been reaching out a lot to the Latino community because they're near and dear to my heart, and such a large population of Latino leaders in this state doing incredible work. We wouldn't have the food we eat without all those incredible farm workers and caregivers on the front line. And again, as we talked about earlier, the Hispanic community has been hit possibly the hardest, given their roles on the front lines. So
communities which have a lot of pre-existing conditions, health disparities, which is around the country. Well, I want to thank you, Jen, so much, first of all, for all the incredible work that you have been doing, that you are doing. I see you on Instagram speaking in Spanish. So when she says she's been reaching out to the Latino community, she means it. And I think the resources that you've been able to bundle up so that people know what's out there, what they might be eligible for. So if you happen to live in California, there is this website that she just mentioned, and we'll put it up again in the comments, where you can go and find out what you might be eligible for if you haven't gotten a loan, what insurance, where to get it, where to get help for yourself and or your kids. And if you live in another state, most states also have similar websites set up to help you access that kind of information. So you can call your local government and find out the specific website that they've put together that can help you in this time of need. And to know that you and the governor are at work 24/7 is a great thing. And I want to thank that the job is often misunderstood. People don't realize it's a 24/7 job when you call it first partner, first lady, or really mother, wife, whatever you want to call it. It's a full-time job, and you're doing it beautifully, and you're doing it so well. So congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us and taking some time away from the homeschooling, the long distance learning, whatever it's called.
I know. It's so great. Thank you. So great to be with you.
Great.
Thank you for everything.
Okay. Bye. So that's Jen Newsom, who is a filmmaker. She did Misrepresentation. I don't know if you ever saw that. She is an activist. Her nonprofit organization is called the Representation Project, for young kids, trying to make a difference as First Lady, as first partner, as a wife, as a mom, and as a human being. And so I want to thank her so much for joining us today. And I think we've seen in these last couple of months that government does matter. And so voting matters. And so no matter where you live, your local representation does matter, regardless of what party you align yourself with. And this is a bipartisan space and place. But we've seen how important it is to have people in government who can help, who can access information for us, who can bundle information together so that people who need the information can get it. And so to all of you who are still staying at home, I know it's hard. Hang in there. I hope Home Together brings you some joy. I hope it motivates you. I hope it brings you some information and inspiration. That's kind of my jam. Information meets inspiration. That's my lane. And I hope that these conversations are something to look forward to and something that help you. Also, I do Sunday paper live on Sundays. If you don't get the Sunday paper, I hope you'll think about subscribing to it. It's free. You go to the Sunday paper at mariashriver.com, and every Sunday we inspire hearts and minds, and we try to move humanity forward one person at a time. And that's certainly what each and every one of us can do: inspire someone's heart and someone's mind and move humanity forward one person at a time. And then on Thursdays, I'm over at the Women's Alzheimer's Movement, which is out there trying to close the research knowledge gap, fund research into women's health, women's brains, and figure out what we need to know about women's health. So, and I'm going to be on the Today Show from here at this exact location tomorrow morning, the 3rd hour. We just won a Gracie Award for the Women's Health Disruptor series that we did there in March. And they announced those awards today. So we're going to talk about that and more tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. I'd never won a Gracie before, won a Peabody and an Emmy, but not a Gracie. And so that's particularly honors work in women's media and work that highlights issues that impact women. So that's a wrap for me. I'm here in Los Angeles, where we are still staying at home. And we have to get comfortable in the unknown. We have to sit in the uncertainty, because I don't know how long we're going to be staying at home. But, and I want to thank so many of you who join this gathering every day. Wanda McDaniel, one of my great friends, Joey Tiwari. I don't know if I pronounced that, Joe Tiwari. Always I see her name there. I see Allison Gingle. I see her name there. So many of you I see every day. Do you drive anywhere? No, not really. I don't. I might go and drive tomorrow to get my Starbucks egg white bites, now that I hear that they're open for, and David Phoenix, I hear they're doing curbside pickup. And that's been a really, I really miss my egg white bites. So I might get in my car and go do that. But thank you for the Alzheimer's work. My mom is getting it. I'm sorry that she is. Head over to the Women's Alzheimer's Movement. Sign up for their newsletter. It's called The Weekly. It educates you about women, Alzheimer's, prevention, brain health, covers all of that. And thank you all so much for being here, for encouraging us. I hope this is encouraging to you too. And somebody just said the egg white bites are available on Postmates. Well, somebody should have told me that. Gosh, okay. Run for office, fulfill your destiny. I am fulfilling my destiny. I'm right here fulfilling my destiny. Gracie Award is my yippee. You're right. I'm going to put that in the Sunday paper. Thank you, Wanda. All right. And keep those ideas coming. Tomorrow we have Esther Perel. Okay. If you are in a relationship or not in a relationship, you will be interested in Esther Perel. She knows more about relationships, sex, you name it, all kinds of relationships. Esther Perel. And then Jess Seinfeld is here on Friday and talking about her incredible work with the Good Plus Foundation. She is doing amazing work. And so is Esther. And I'm sure so are each and every one of you. Each and every one of you are moving humanity forward one person at a time. Just by being here, you're moving me forward. Think about that. You're moving me forward. You're encouraging me forward. You're inspiring me forward. Daniel Island, what time? 2 o'clock every day, 2 o'clock here. Yesterday we did 1 o'clock on Patrick's account because it was Ashton Kutcher and he could only do 1 o'clock because he had to take care of his kids. So we move around sometimes for people, but your cousin Joe, can he come on again? That's a good idea. I'll call him. Yes, I'm sure he can come on again, please. I should get him on again. That's a good idea. I was going to also ask my cousin Patrick to come on about mental health, but I didn't want to like always have my family on. But anyway, okay, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. East Coast time, and wherever you are, 10 p.m. every evening in Ireland. I love that. And your brother Mark, yes, and my brother Mark. Got to get on my brother Mark. I just did a big Save the Children thing for him on the weekend, but you're right. I'm going to have him on. I got to do that, and I got to have my brother on. And okay, that's enough. Anyway, thank you. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you back here, home together tomorrow. Bye.